Hi, this is Megan with Beadaholique, and today I'm going to show you how to bead weave a star using brick stitch. And we do have a video on how to do brick stitch and a video on how to do a round circular brick stitch. So go ahead and watch those if you don't know how, because that's what you're going to use to make this. And to start, you're actually just going to do a piece of circular brick stitch that is about as big as you want the middle of your star to be without the points. And if you want a 5-pointed star like I'm doing, you need to have the number of beads on your last row be divisible by 5. As you know, if you know how to do circular brick stitch, or as you will pick up very quickly if you are just learning, there's a little bit of wiggle room as far as how many beads you fit into the spaces. So you can kind of play around with the number of beads that you add and the number of rows that you do to get your final count of beads divisible by 5. So I have done this piece here, and it has 25 beads on the outside row, so that's perfect. I'll just do 5 beads per point. So now you're going to do a regular brick stitch, and you're just going to do 5 beads in a regular brick stitch along that same edge in the next row. So you'll always start brick stitch by adding 2 beads and skipping the first little thread bridge right there. And don't add in extra beads like you might in circular brick stitch. Just go ahead and stretch them along, because they're just groups of 5, so it won't make it buckle. It'll still lay flat. If you tried to make a very large star, you may have to add in extra beads, but if you're doing something smaller and you're only going across 3, 4, 5, you're probably fine. So do your 5 beads, and then you're going to stop and do short row, and you're going to continue to do the brick stitch in the next row above those 5 beads, and you're going to go ahead and let it decrease as it naturally would. Because we want that point. We want that pointy shape, so that's why this stitch works so well for this. Oops. And when you get to the end of your row, just turn and start a new row. And turn and do the last row of the regular brick stitch, which will only have the 2 beads from the first stitch. And then you're going to pick up 1 bead and go back down the side opposite of where your thread's coming out, just through those beads that are part of the regular brick stitch you just did, and you're going to come out next to that last row of beads in the circular brick stitch. And when you pull it tight, you can see you get that one last bead that makes the nice little point for your star. And then before you start again on the next point, take your needle and go through the bead just inside the point in that last row, and then you're going to go back up towards the outside in the next one over, and now you're ready to make your next point. So you will go just like you did on this one, pick up 2 beads and start a row of ladder stitch 5 beads long and go back and forth. And you're going to continue around. If your last row of beads was divisible by 5, then you will end up finishing right where you started, and you will end up with a nice even star when you go back down when you're done. And then you can just tie off your ends and weave them in, and we do also have a video on how to do that if you're unfamiliar with how to do that. And then you have this nice brick stitch 5-pointed star that you can use for all kinds of things.